So Deathwatch was a blind buy of mine that I bought recently. Found it for $3. Um, I had heard about it on a YouTube channel, horror YouTube channel, and it sounded pretty cool from the cover. And usually I'm a sucker for buying films by the cover and by the little blurb that I get from it, and especially if it's like $3, right? But this was a very cool film, man. I did read the back of it. Like I read the synopsis on the back, so not technically blind, but like going in, I kind of roughly knew what the film was about, but it really impressed me. Now the thing is, this takes place in 1917, and it's a war horror film. I'm usually not the biggest on period pieces, and war films are very hit and miss. Either they're fantastic and I absolutely love them, like Hacksaw Ridge, or I could care less about them, like The Hurt Locker. And I just am not a fan of them whatsoever. So it's one or the other for war films in general. But this one was super impressive. There are some grisly images in this film. This is definitely a horror film at its heart, in a war setting, obviously. The 1917 atmosphere really looks good. The costume design, the trenches. It's a very like gray film. It's pretty much raining through the whole thing, or like dark, like nighttime scenes. And basically, it's about a group of soldiers who they find a trench, a German trench, and they decide to take refuge in this trench while they wait for backup. And the film is basically about a haunted trench. This trench starts to become extremely sinister, plays with their minds. They start going crazy. They start turning on each other. They start discovering things about what like going on in this trench. They discover bodies, whatnot. And like I said, there's some grisly and haunting imagery, not just gore, but like dark, twisted, like supernatural shit going on. And like if you took like parts of like the Silent Hill world and put them in a war setting, it it would kind of resemble what goes on in this a few times. There's, without getting too like spoilerish, there's scenes involving like bodies and barbed wire, kind of like display style of dead bodies that really is like very sinister, like I said, and very supernatural, very demonic kind of thing, you could say, in a sense. But it's a very well paced film, and it's a very entertaining film throughout. It's only an hour and a half, so it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. But I highly recommend it. It was released in 2002. Andy Serkis is in here, who is very famous for doing a bunch of like motion capture CGI characters like Gollum in Lord of the Rings and Caesar in Planet of the Apes, and he also did King Kong apparently. So he's famous for that, and he's in here as one of the villains, or part of the what's it called, the part of the troops, but he's definitely one that loses his mind. It's a cool film. It's a cool watch. Like I said, it's entertaining throughout. The only thing that this kind of has going against it is some pretty bad CGI at times, but it doesn't really take away anything from the mood of the film or where the film goes, kind of thing. And the like it doesn't ruin the atmosphere of the film. I would say it's noticeable, but it's also 2002, and this film obviously didn't have a very high budget. They used the budget that they had really well, and they designed the set and the atmosphere to look like 1917 really, really well. And the acting is very good. Another thing that outside of the CGI, another thing that I could say is a little bit annoying is how much screaming from the characters there are. They are just constantly yelling and constantly screaming and just constantly being out of their heads. Now, I'm mixed on that because I can't put myself in the scenario of being in war and stuck in a trench, claustrophobic, and having all this bizarre supernatural shit going on around me and wondering, you know, is this in my head or am I hallucinating or is this actually real? But at the same time, it's still kind of annoying, you know, hearing characters just scream and yell and yell. And it's like, oh my gosh, enough already. Just calm the frig down. So I'm on both ends. You know what I mean? I understand because it's, you know, it comes with the territory, but at the same time, it's really annoying when it goes on for like 10, 15 minutes. It's like, give it a rest. But overall, very impressive film, and I definitely recommend it. I definitely enjoyed it, and glad I picked it up, and glad I discovered it. I love discovering new shit, especially when it's cheap in price. That's what I like for my collection. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like to watch my reviews. And there's lots on the channel. There will be plenty more, as I always say. So until next time, that was Deathwatch. That was directed by Michael J. Bassett, and it's a great war horror story. So until next time, take care, and cheers.